Hello and welcome to Two and a Half Brains. This is our latest episode of Survivor Season 44, Episode 3. We're going to break it all down, talk all about it. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can like our Facebook page, Pavement Road Prod on Facebook. Email the show directly, pavementroadproductions@gmail.com. Subscribe, share the post, and tell your friends. Pavement Road Prod on Facebook to get all the updates there. I haven't been posting as much on that as I should. I'll get back on posting that more often so you get all the updates and spread the word. So, big episode of Survivor we're talking about here. It was at least, I don't know how big it was, but it was an episode of Survivor, let's say. A lot of times the early in the game gets to be a little bit, run the mill, and it's kind of how this has been. A lot of the seasons get like that. A lot of the smaller characters go out and not as well developed characters go out, and it's kind of is what it is. But we're gonna talk all about it. We're gonna break it all down and do our 3 moments that mattered. Talk about the who did not survive this week, what they did wrong. We're also talking about the top player of the week, or I should say the bottom player of the week, and then give everybody else in the cast a plus or a minus, and then talk about the best player of the week as we wrap up. So we'll go ahead and get started here in just a moment. Before we do, I do want to go ahead and bring in Jessica. Jessica is going to be joining us today. Wasn't with us the last 2 weeks, but is back here. And hopefully we can stay on our schedule going forward, pretty much record like the Wednesday right after the episode if possible. So we did just watch it together, so we'll be talking all about it, and we'll be going from there. So I'll bring Jessica here, and we'll get started. Welcome.
Oh, hello.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm so thrilled.
Yeah. It's been, not doing too much, but, looking at some of the Survivor stuff, and a lot of the people are feeling the same way you are, I think. The show.
Good.
I think a lot of even the people who watch every season, and it's funny because people watch every season. I don't remember every episode that happens, and I don't remember everything. And I used to when I was younger. I had nothing else to do. Now my mind's full of other stuff. But I used to be able to watch every episode and tell you like who got voted out, which order, what day it was, everything. But now it's not like that, and so I feel a lot more casual than I used to be, I guess maybe. But the people are super immersed in it. But I mean, a lot of people are saying, that I'm listening, casual fans are just like, this is not what we remember it being.
Yeah, everybody's catching up.
Yeah, so.
I was the trendsetter.
Perhaps. So, let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about 3 moments that matter. Then we'll also talk about who did not survive, and we'll go from there. So, to kick us off here, unless you have anything else you want to talk about the season as a whole. Obviously, the first episode you've been on with us. Anything about the first 2 episodes you want to mention or not really?
No, that's okay. Nothing spectacular.
Yeah, obviously Bruce was your winner pick.
And yeah, that sucked, but people shouldn't dive head first into the freaking sand.
They get so excited. And not for nothing, he was the tallest guy, and he's got to go down to the lowest, right? And he just cracked his skull.
Yeah, but he was trying to dive underneath the log and did not
He missed.
get a good trajectory of that.
Yeah, he missed.
Yeah.
All right, so other than that, let's talk about the moment that mattered number 1, which is...
Idol deception.
What was it all about?
So Matthew created a fake idol and hid it, and then basically led his ally-ish, I think, to the watering hole, if you will, to dig up worms that they were disgustingly eating out of the ground, and had her dig next to it, and then she noticed the idol, which did not know it was fake. We all didn't know it was fake until they did his...
They did a little flashback.
Yeah. And then Danny, as we know, got the idol out of the bird cage and put it back. And then he hid the key. I don't know if recently after that, whatever. And then they were doing a group search. And Matt, yeah, too many common names, found it. Danny saw him around that area, so obviously he watched and saw him put something in his pocket. And Matt went and got the stuff, and then he went to Matt while Josh was there and basically asked, what'd you put in your pocket? Of course, he denied it, but had to come clean after that. And that was a fake idol. It was the chip idol.
Yeah, the medallion, yep. Exactly,
Medallion,
yep.
yeah.
And the thing with Matthew's fake idol is it was he found a real idol and they did a flashback, but it wasn't the bird cage idol because that was already been used.
Right.
So...
Wondering if he found it there.
I don't know.
Or if he hid it somewhere else. I don't remember where he found it.
Yeah.
He didn't find it there. It was somewhere else.
No, it was somewhere else, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then there's still that medallion, which I guess they already know about. So, because when Brandon found it, it was out in the open. So I think everybody already knew about the medallion that was fake on that tribe. But obviously, Danny hid the medallion in the bird cage, and then Matt found the key, and and then of course, so Danny kind of threw the deception onto Matt with Josh standing right there, and then of course he told Franny because he loves Franny, and then the word got back to pretty much everybody that Matt had an idol.
Danny told.
He told Heidi.
Yeah, about it.
Yeah.
So everybody knew about it.
Yep. So interesting. So 2 fake idols go around. One is an actual producer created fake idol with the clue, and then
he actually took it off of their where they put the fire. What are they
torches?
called? The torches.
Matthew did. Yeah,
Matthew did.
Yeah, he made the fake idol off took it off the torches, the beads off the torches, and made the fake idol, and then Danny did it with the medallion that the producers gave him.
Right.
So, with the real idol. So, cool. That was that. So now just to update the idols, Danny has one, Matthew has one, and that's it, right?
Carolyn.
Oh, Carolyn. That's right. Carolyn has one, and then the advantage. Sarah has an advantage and now can vote again, and
I don't remember her name.
Claire had one, right? No, Lauren.
Yeah.
Lauren, that's right. Lauren has the other advantage, and then the fake idols belong to Heidi and Matt. Cool.
Not Heidi.
No,
Jamie.
I would get them confused every time. I get them confused. Jamie has a fake idol, and Matt.
Be a long season.
Right, exactly. All right. Well, anyways, so moving on from that, then what's next?
Copy the answer.
Copy the answer.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
The immunity challenge. Yeah, I forget in the words. It's annoying. So, was it the Orange Tribe, right?
Yep.
One, and the purple and green players was Carson and Yam Yam, and then I don't remember who else it was on the other side.
It was the married couple.
The married couple. Okay.
Yeah.
The showmans.
Yeah.
So they went over and started looking at the puzzle to see how it was completed so they could finish it, and basically copied their puzzle from the Orange Tribe to the other ones. I don't know the names of the tribes.
Yeah, I don't care.
I'm not apologizing for it.
No. Soka is the green thing, right? Yeah. That's all I remember.
Tutu, Tata, Soku, Jam.
Who the hell cares?
I don't know.
Yeah, who cares? The names don't matter. They're all BS anyways. So, because I remember back in the day, like as far as Australia, it was Kucha and Ogakor. And those were like kangaroo and gator. Alligator. And so I meant in whatever language they spoke in because obviously Australian, but it wasn't Australian, it was like the native language.
Yeah.
So
we won't go down the path of how they shouldn't be using those names and all of it. It's not honoring anything.
No.
They're just using it because it's Fiji. And
it sounds like something.
I think it's stupid.
It's very stupid. It's very stupid. Nobody cares about the names.
Yeah.
So that has happened, a few times in our history, and not like last season where the one tribe was coaching the other tribe on how to complete the challenge.
Right.
But in this case, they just left it open, and anybody could go look and see it.
Might learn from it and knock the stuff down next time.
Maybe, or just leave it up. Who the hell cares? They can do what they want to do. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, if no harm to you or anybody else if they look. So
yeah, not now, later though, maybe
for sure, an individual or whatever. If it's like, or if it's like a
multiple winners.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Or if it's like a thing where you want one tribe to definitely win over the other,
right.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, they copied it. That's how they found out what happened. That's how they found the puzzle. That's how they completed the puzzle. And the team who completed the puzzle was orange first, and then purple finished second. And Sarah was talking about how if they lose, she's in big trouble. But they finished second, and she was able to survive. And the team who hadn't lost yet goes to tribal council.
Yeah.
Anything else? We're gonna move on to the third moment.
We can move on to the third moment.
Third moment that mattered is
Claire's bench.
Claire's bench. So like the Sandra bench, where Sandra always sits out. This case is the Claire's bench because Claire always sits out. So Claire's taking part in officially one challenge this season. It was the opening challenge, the reward challenge, and then the player on the one team got injured and got pulled before the immunity challenge. So they had to sit somebody out for the first immunity challenge. So she sat out for the first immunity challenge, and then the second immunity challenge, And then the third immunity challenge. So she set up all 3 immunity challenges. And I hear online, oh, they used to not let them set up back-to-back challenges, guys. That was when there was a reward and an immunity challenge. You couldn't set up both. Mm-hmm. Now, since it's each episode, it's each episode. Mm-hmm. You can set up a challenge, 1 challenge per episode. If there is only one challenge per episode, then you set all of them if you want. Mm-hmm. And Claire set out. So what do you think of that?
I mean, she said it was a tribe decision and a decision that she would make, but I don't really believe it was a tribe decision. I think she was just volunteer so readily that they didn't challenge it and probably didn't care necessarily if she was in or out, but I don't know. She probably should have put herself into at least one to show if she could do something to keep her there. Yeah. If she knew that was going to be a bad thing, then why would she do it all the time?
I'm of two minds about it. It reminds me of one time of the 2018 World Series when Rich Hill was on the mound for the Dodgers, and I think it was a tie game or they even were up, and it was like game 5 maybe or 4. I think it was 4. It was around there, 4 or 5. I think it was 4, and he was getting close to the end of the line of pitches, but he probably had a little bit more left, and the manager's going to take him out of the game, but he wasn't going to take him out of the game. He just wanted to talk to him. So he basically, the manager basically didn't signal to the bullpen like he was going to pull him, but the pitcher gave him the ball. So the pitcher gave him the ball. Like Rich Hill gave Dave Roberts the ball as if he's like, all right, I'm done, but Roberts didn't plan on taking him out of the game. He was just like, all right, well, I'm going to, now that you gave me the ball, now that you've checked out of the game, you gave me the ball, now I have to pull you. Right? I kind of feel like that's how they feel with Claire. Obviously, once they make that switch, that they're out of the game or out of the challenge, it's really hard to get them to go back in. You really can't be like, okay, well, go back in. Right? I feel like that's kind of how it is with Claire. Like, if she's like, oh, I don't care, I'll sit down, I don't really care. Well, everybody else is all focused on going in. She's like, eh. Then I feel like if she doesn't really care to be in, then we have to keep her in. If she's not super, amped up to go, getting her amped up as opposed to somebody else who already is amped up, it's easier to just let her sit out. It's easier just to have her sit on the bench. Whereas, if somebody else is already amped up, them calming down and getting her up, might as well just let her sit down. That being said, I don't care about the challenges at all. Like, if you don't want to take part in the challenges, if you're the worst part of the team, or you're not good at the specific challenges, then your own, they said, oh, they should let her try. Well, and she said she would try and would do fine. And if that's the case, then great, but why try? We know you have something else better. It's like I have a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and I have a rookie. I'm going to try the rookie because maybe the rookie's good. But I also have a Super Bowl winning quarterback, right? The Super Bowl winning quarterback is going to win me a Super Bowl. The rookie quarterback may be good, may be awesome, but I know what I have. So why would I put the rookie in?
But this is the first time they've lost.
Right.
So we don't know if she was going to be good or not anyways.
Absolutely.
They did fine without her.
Right. And what they were doing was working. So why switch it up? Right? You switch it up, and now it's like, well, we're letting her try, but now we all lose. Mm-hmm. Right? So I don't personally care. For her, she probably should have put her foot down and said, hey, I want to be in because, I can do this instead of the people who are older or whatever, but I personally don't care if she doesn't want to be in, if she doesn't want to be in. For her sake, it didn't turn out great because, when you do lose, it's obviously not her fault, but also it's like, well, she's not really contributing anyway, so why keep her?
Well, they don't show everything, but did she ever make the argument to them, like, I wasn't in the other two and you guys went without me, so why would I rock the boat? Like that, I feel like would be the top argument she would make to not get voted out. Yeah.
No, for sure. And that's, that's as good of an argument as any. And Jeff was kind of like, you keep sitting out, Mm-hmm. And she's like, and she kind of explained, like, well, if they don't need me, it's better for the team for me to sit out, then I'll sit out. And, and Jeff's like, well, there's no ego in that, then that's good. Mm-hmm. And that's true. If it's, hey, if my spot's being over here cheering you on, then fantastic. Everybody has a role to play. And that's my role. But we'll talk about that here in just a moment, a little bit as we move on. Do you want to move on to the next part?
Sure.
So let's talk about who did not survive.
Claire.
Yeah. And what do you think the reason was?
I mean, they kept saying because she didn't participate in the challenges, but I really don't think that was everything with it. I mean, everybody fought about strongness of the team. What does that mean to you, basically? What is strongness? What is being strong of a team?
Right, and they always say, vote out weak people certain times, strong people other times, and the fact is, weak and strong, you got the strongest person, like, for example, Austin in Survivor Pearl Islands. I think it was Pearl Islands, yeah. He was the biggest, most ripped dude to date, and at that time. This is season 7. He was the most ripped dude in the first 7 seasons. Not close. He was an absolute tank, and he was a nutcase. His head was never in the game. He was all over the place. He was afraid of the pelican that was there. It was terrifying him. He was like, he could have broken the thing's neck with his pinky, okay? And he was just so in his own head, and he couldn't handle anything. So what's strength, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have no mental strength at all, you're mentally very, very weak. Are you an asset to your tribe?
No, that's why every time someone gets paranoid, they usually get voted out.
Yeah.
People don't want to deal with it.
Right, because you're causing problems, and that's a bad thing. I don't think she got voted out necessarily because she was not taking part in the challenges. I don't think that's what it was.
No, I don't think so.
They actually targeted Josh a little bit because he wasn't building great bonds with everybody.
The girls did.
Yeah. But I think the girls should have stuck together. I really do. I think they should have stuck together, maybe voted out Josh or Matt. And Claire's kind of suggested Matt to Franny, which is like, what are you talking about? You're gonna vote, you should vote your boyfriend. I don't like him.
I mean, and that's why I think she ended up voting her out anyways, because she was threatening that.
Right, which is makes sense. I don't think Claire was playing a very good game, but also here's the thing. I don't think her sitting out got her voted out. I think her being the outlier got her voted out.
Yeah.
And by that I mean she did the same thing 3 times.
Yeah.
Right? Like if she would have switched it up a little bit, she would, being the most of anything makes you stand out. Mm-hmm. Being the tallest, being the shortest, being the loudest, being the quietest. Helen got voted out.
I know.
Helen got voted out kind of last week for being the quietest a little bit, right? Because she was kind of not being too, Carson got paranoid about her because she's kind of just not doing anything. She kind of just got her arms crossed and not being too open. In this case,
it's a battle of the smarts. He felt threatened.
Could be, very much so. But Claire did, Claire was the most sitting outish, and that's not like, you become a target when you stand out. And how do you stand out? You can stand out by being great at challenges. You can stand out sitting out of every challenges. Mm-hmm. In this case, she sat out of every challenge.
Right.
And kind of, you can't really hide when Jeff's talking about, oh, look, Claire's sitting out again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the girls would have been smart to stick together. And maybe they should have. And I think they still, even if they got rid of one of their stronger guys, I think they're still the strongest tribe. I do. I mean, maybe not Danny. Maybe if they got rid of Josh, but Josh is still pretty good challengers too. Mm-hmm. He's got the dexterity pretty well. But you can't be just out in the open, here I am, and then try to hide. And you also can't target half of the showmans to the other half of the showmans.
Right.
Just not good decisions.
No.
And I think that's what she did wrong. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that's a lot of what it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anything else to add?
No.
Cool. So let's go ahead and talk about the bottom player of the week. And we're talking about who had the worst week. And they get 2 thumbs down. And while I'm on the thumbs up and thumbs down, Claire got voted out this week. So she's no longer, a part of this. But she was +2. So she had the first 2 weeks she had pluses. And then she was out. Mm-hmm. So she had one of the higher scores going into this week. But obviously, things happen. You lose a challenge and somebody has to go, and there you are.
Surprised you gave her pluses.
Well, she did really well. She sat out the first challenge, and she blew up Lauren's game a little bit, talking to Matthew, who's also sitting out, and said, "Hey, did your person who came back show you the clue, whatever?"
Yeah.
And then she also seemed to make good bonds last week. So for those 2, I kind of gave her pluses. Even though they weren't like massive flosses, but I thought she had two decent, two. If you want to look at average is equal, she was slightly above average in both weeks. That's all. So I thought she was doing decently well. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have predicted her to be the first one out of that tribe.
Yeah.
But I digress. So she ends with +2. Who is the bottom player of the week who gets 2 thumbs down this week?
Matt, yeah.
So tall, dweeby Matt.
Mm-hmm. Nerdy Matt.
Show Matt.
Oh my God, no.
What? Yeah, right, exactly. Why him? Why is he the bottom player of the week?
I mean, he has the fake idol. He's got a target because of his closeness to whoever, Franny. I don't know their names. So he's pretty much out there with that. They're always spending time together, and everybody's aware of it. So that's gonna come to bite him at some point, or her.
Yeah, or her. Very possibly her.
The fake idol is not good.
And he thinks it's real. That's the thing, right? He thinks it's real.
Yeah.
And he also couldn't vote this week, and he can't vote next week.
Right.
So that's huge.
Yeah.
He lost 2 votes. He got survived this one, but he can't. And let's say they get swapped next week, or they get swapped before he has to vote again, and he's not with Franny. He can't vote. If he's even in the numbers, they swap and it's 2-2. Him and Danny and 2 people from another tribe.
I mean, that'll count even into the merge.
Yeah.
That he can't vote.
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say they swap and that was 2-2. Well, now it's 2-1 because he can't vote. So he's definitely in a dire spot. He's really lucky that they didn't vote him or Franny out. They probably should have. Mm-hmm. They probably should have voted him or Franny out. And the fact that they to split them up, they want to keep the tribe unified, so they didn't do that.
Yeah.
But if he gets swapped without Franny, or without somebody who's gonna go to bat for him, like heavily, he's in big trouble.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why he's the bottom player this week.
Yeah.
What do you think? Anything you can add anything to that?
I mean, I don't really know how much he's bonding with anybody else either, so
Correct.
He doesn't have any other alliances besides Franny, and then that's it.
Very good point. And he said we should go road tripping after this. Blah blah blah. She's like, yeah, it'd be fun. It's like, but you never also. I didn't even think about it. You made a very good point. You never see him really talking with anybody else. I mean, a little bit here with the guys, like whatever about whatever the challenge or whatever.
Yeah.
But he really doesn't bond with anybody else.
No, he doesn't.
Because he's too busy.
Anybody.
Yeah, he's too busy hanging out with Franny and showmancing.
Yep.
Not smart.
Nope.
So he gets 2 thumbs down, and that puts him at -4 for the and it's not golf. I mean, I guess it's kind of golf because he got over and under, but it's not. You do high score still wins. So he's -4. So he is right now the lowest player. He got negative week 1, negative week 2, double negative week 3. Not good. He's giving my Cody this week. I feel like this season.
Yeah.
Don't want to just rag on the whole time.
It's depending on how long he lasts.
Yeah, for sure. He didn't seem like he was in that much trouble this week, which is kind of shocking. They threw his name out early, but it didn't seem that. He didn't seem like he was that much of a target, even despite the fact he couldn't vote. So
yeah.
We're gonna skip who the top player is, and say that for the end, and we're gonna rip through everybody else on the cast, skipping one. So the one we're skipping, of course, is that one. Mm-hmm. Right. So let's go ahead and start with the top one, and we'll go through. So the rest of the cast, starting with Josh.
He is a negative.
Why?
Negatory. I mean, his name was thrown out there to be eliminated, to be voted out. He also doesn't really seem to be talking much with other people, but he kind of keeps himself.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I mean, he's pretty good in the challenges. He's definitely got the dexterity down. He definitely seems decently social, and he's in pretty good shape. And seems like he's definitely not an idiot. He's a doctor, right?
Yeah.
A podiatrist, which is like highly specialized. But he, like they said, I think was it Heidi this week said it. He didn't really talk to her much. Like he's like like Katie Gallagher in her season 10. She talked about at the final tribal her great social game that she had, and one of the people on the jury rebutted it, said your social game was great inside your alliance.
Right.
Your alliance loved you.
Right.
Everybody else didn't like you. And I feel like that's kind of Josh. Like Josh's social game is really good for people who he likes and he likes to hang out with and talk to. But the difference between an elite social game and a good social game is a good social game you talk to people and they like you. An elite social game you talk to everybody and they like you.
Yeah.
So Even people you don't like, they like you.
Right.
So, Josh right now gets a negative. So that puts him at.
Positive and 2 negative.
Yep. So he's at a negative 1 overall.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know how you're doing this.
That makes sense. You're good. You got it. Who's next?
Carolyn,
What did Carolyn get this week? You talk me into this one.
a plus.
Why?
Because even though she's out of her mind and crazy, she still got an alliance and she's got an idol and wasn't eliminated last week.
Yeah, and that tribe. I feel like Sarah's still a target. Maybe Carson would do something different if it came down to it. Maybe he wouldn't vote for Sarah, but I think Sarah is the one who's kind of in trouble because it doesn't really make sense for Carson to do anything else, right? Unless he's gonna try bringing Jam and say, hey, let's go after Carolyn, but Carolyn has an idol, right? So I think either way, I think Carolyn's gonna be safe for a little while, at least till the swap or merge. So I don't think she's playing a good game,
No.
but I think despite herself, she's in a decent spot,
Yeah.
and she's even.
Yeah. She is even.
Cool. Next is
Brandon.
Brandon.
Positive.
Positive. Why?
I mean, he's in a good spot in his tribe. He's strong. Making good alliances, I guess.
Yeah, I mean he's
social.
yeah, he's really
Gets food.
yeah, all those things. He did catch some fish today. He's been doing a lot of things differently. He's been getting a lot of airtime. He's been doing well. He's doing well. I don't think he's gonna make it too far after the merge because why would you let him get that far?
Yeah.
But also
They let Jonathan get far.
yeah, they let Danny get far too. Which is true. But I think with Brandon, I don't think it makes a ton of sense to. Put it this way, I don't think they're losing another tribal council anytime, or another community challenge anytime soon. So even though he was the one who got the most votes at tribal council, but he played his idol and it was fine. I think Matthew's the best one in that tribe, the best player on that tribe, and I think Brandon's in a fine spot. And I think the cheap win, he'll be good. He did get some votes against him, the most votes, but I think it was only 2, right? And one of the 2 is gone.
Yeah.
So I think he's in a fine spot. I think he kind of I would have given him maybe a negative this week, but he really didn't do anything that was negative, and he's kind of just status quo, staying the same. So I think that's why he did. If he would have got negative last week, I think I would have given him a negative this week because nothing really changed.
Yeah.
But he got positive last week and nothing really changed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I understand.
Speaking of Matthew.
Matthew, he is a positive.
Yep. He had a negative the first week, and then 2 positives.
I mean, I could argue a negative this week too.
Tell me.
I mean, he kind of re-injured himself during the immunity challenge, so he's not going to be, not status quo, but he's not in a good position because one injury could take him out if he's not careful, and he's not being careful.
For sure. I actually argued last week that I think his injury is actually positive for him because, like, when Tyson won his season, Tyson was the biggest threat from immunities and for challenges in his season. But he hurt himself, like, early on.
Yeah.
And he couldn't go 100%, and people didn't take him seriously because he was hurt. So I think Matthew's a lot better in the challenges. I think that he's kind of letting on because he's hurt. And I think I think he'd be a big threat in the challenges, and he'd be a big threat in a target because he's good at the challenges.
It's only if it gets to the point where they actually have to go to tribal and vote, because they could argue that he doesn't help because he's injured, so why would they keep him because he doesn't keep them strong?
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to get rid of all the strong people when there's still tribes.
Yeah, and I think he actually is still doing decent well in the challenges though too, because he's still, even with his arm, he's still doing pretty well. And I think the reason I also want to give him a plus is because he found an idol.
Yeah.
And I think he's
the fake idol.
Yeah, I think he's overplaying with that fake idol. I really do. I think he's because if he's actually aligned with Jamie, which I feel like he kind of is. Yeah. I think Brandon is number 1, but I think Jamie's kind of, because they're both around the same age. So I think he's kind of aligned with Jamie. So the fact that he had her, or helped her, or let her find a fake idol, and then she thinks it's real, I think that's overplaying.
Yeah, it could come to bite him when she decides to try and play it, unless he convinces her not to.
Right, and it's your ally. Like, why are you doing that to your ally?
Yeah.
But overall, I think that hasn't happened yet, so that's out there. That could happen. But I think for right now, he had a positive week. So he's 1 negative and 2 positives. So he's actually +1. Right?
Yes.
Who is next?
Sarah.
Sarah, what did she get this week?
Negative.
Why?
Negatory. because she almost got voted out last week, and I guess not almost voted out last week, but she is not in a good spot in her tribe because she probably hit the bottom.
Yeah, she's down the numbers. I mean, she couldn't vote last week. But if she would have voted alongside. At least it appeared she would have voted with Helen against.
Yeah. Carolyn.
No, it was Carolyn. Yeah. So she would have voted, with Helen against Carolyn. You would think if she had the ability to vote.
Right.
She didn't. So now it's 3-on-1 against her unless something changes. Despite she doesn't really do anything too wrong. She doesn't really do anything too bad in the game. But she's still down the numbers. And if they go to tribal council, doesn't matter how good or how bad of a game you're playing. If you're down the numbers, you're probably out.
Yeah.
So
right.
She hasn't got her way back in yet. So she just hope they just keep winning, which I don't think is gonna happen.
Probably not.
So she is now what? She had a plus first week. She was the bottom player last week, and now she's just got another negative. So what does that mean?
She is -1. I don't know. She's negative. Double negative?
-2. Plus, minus, negative, minus.
Yes, okay. You can say it. I don't know what you're trying to get, how you're saying it.
Yeah, so plus, and then 2 minuses, and then a minus.
Right.
So she's -2 right now.
Okay.
What's next? Who's next?
Carson.
Tell me about him.
He is a positive.
Yeah, why?
Because he's continually doing well in the immunity challenges with every kind of puzzle, and he voted with the majority last week, so he put himself in a good spot.
Yeah, and he could flip over with Sarah if he wants to. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to do it, but he's in a spot where Sarah said that even though he trade her and whatever, she still trusts him more than anybody else, which is kind of an indictment on the other two because Carson pretty much betrayed her, and if the other two didn't pick her up, that's a mistake, right?
Yeah.
Like when the person gets voted out and their person's ally gets voted out, and now they're all alone, you can just toss them aside and not be done with them, or you can try to make a relationship in case you need them in the future. And they didn't really do that. They that's what the Orange Tribe did with Marianne in her season. Like they did, she was next to go if they were lost in the immunity. They never lost in the immunity, but they also never really spent so much time and effort on her. And so then when the merge came, she was able to do what she wanted because they didn't really care about her and she didn't really have any loyalty. So with that now, Carson with a plus, though, he did well again on the puzzle. He's in a pretty good spot in the tribe. So he had 3 pluses so far, so he's +3. Next. Franny.
She is a negative.
Yep, a thumbs down this week.
Her showmance is probably going to be one of the worst things for her.
Yeah.
Not really having any other allies, especially if she let Claire go, and she's not going to really have a good time making alliances with other people.
Yeah, if I was her, I would have really pushed hard for Josh. And if you push hard for Josh, obviously Matthew can't vote anyways. But between Josh and I guess Heidi was a swing vote maybe, and she wanted to go that way, so Franny just has to kind of jump on, But I would have tried to push Heidi a little bit more into, hey, we should keep Claire because keep the girls number strong. Now they lost another girl, 3 girls down. So far. So,
yeah.
But the showmance is really what is really the key. I mean, if they decide, hey, we have to go after Matthew, but he might have an idol, well, take out his number 1 ally then too. And without Franny, Matthew's, he's got nothing. So you can easily just kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone by taking out Franny, and that might be the way to go. So, she's had a positive, now 2 negatives, so she's -1. What is next? Kane.
He is a positive.
Positive this week, even though he didn't do the Canadian National Anthem at all, right?
I was going to say he's a positive because he's saying the Canadian National Anthem.
I mean, I guess because he just, he didn't really do anything too bad. And they seemed to be kind of entertaining with his singing, and that seemed to make people like him a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, they're just bonding and having a good time and not stressing about anything.
Yeah, and they're doing well in the challenges. That helps too, for sure. So, yeah, I gave him a positive this week. He had 2 negatives, now a positive this week.
So -1.
-1. All right, next is Lauren.
Negative.
Yeah. Nothing really major on this one. She was negative first week, positive second week. And this week, nothing wasn't really in the episode. And she's out of the challenge. So nothing really to go with. So she's still just kind of there. Wasn't really in the episode, so I gave her a negative. Next.
Yam Yam.
Yep.
A positive.
Yep. Why?
He's got a close bond with Carolyn.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty much probably the top of their tribe.
Yep.
So leading things.
Yep. Did well in the immunity challenge with Carson. They worked well on the puzzle together. And he did pretty well in the physical part too. He was carrying the one block by himself, as he announced.
He had to announce it. Yes.
Yes, he did his own commentary. Yeah, Jam carrying one all by himself. He said.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and Jeff kind of commented that he was, you know, doing the play-by-play.
Right. Exactly.
So, we already did Matt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Matt had the -2, so he's at -4. Next. Heidi.
She is a positive.
Yeah, positive this week. Why?
She was in the power of the swing vote.
Yeah. Yep, she was positive this week. She had 2 negatives last 2 weeks. This week she put herself in a good position to be the swing vote, and you know, it made the less offensive vote, I would say. I mean, she could have gone after Matt and really rocked the boat, but in this case,
Josh.
Well, yeah, but Josh, but also Matt, because Matt, you know, was the one who was initially there, and that would have really split things up.
Right.
She could have gone after Josh as well, and that would piss off Danny.
Yeah.
So she went with the vote that was gonna piss off nobody by getting rid of Claire.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Franny didn't really care. Franny has a number 1. Danny has, Josh has number 1. They all have another number 1 that's not Claire. Mm-hmm. So nobody, you know, maybe some people would have rather kept Claire, but Claire is nobody's number 1. So I think Heidi made the right decision. Hey, let's get rid of the person who can piss off the least amount of people and keep the tribe strong. Mm-hmm. And that's what they did. And I think she made the right decision. I don't know if I'm Franny, I want to keep Claire and then we get rid of Danny and Josh next time. But I think if you're Heidi, plan on not losing again and trying to keep the tribe strong and not pissing off anybody. I think is the right way to go.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
And finally,
Jamie.
Yep, Jamie.
Negative.
Yep. So she's got 3 negatives now.
Mm-hmm.
And why?
She found the fake idol.
Yep.
And she kind of has her head in the clouds with everything.
Yeah, she's a yogi. Yeah. She's a yogi. She got pretty easily duped, I feel like, and didn't really know what's going on. I mean, she's kind of building a relationship with Matthew, which is great. She said the tree, the plant people are plant.
She's a plant lady. He's the plant daddy.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, I guess. And Matthew kind of thought it was funny. He was like, I don't really care. She's not my whatever. Yeah. So I think she thinks she's as close with people than she really is.
Yeah.
Hasn't really been on the show too much, and only thing she really did was find a fake idol this week. So
yeah.
And she thinks it's real, obviously.
Right.
So we'll see on that.
Yeah.
Finally, let's wrap up. Here's one person we didn't mention. Obviously, all people who have voted out, we don't mention. The bottom person we don't mention. The top person we don't mention, because we have them for right here. Player of the week this week is
Danny.
Yeah, Danny. He's surprising me. Is he surprising you?
Yeah, I didn't think he'd be good. Thought he'd be a typical firefighter.
Yeah. I kind of had the JP Hiltback or Mike, from 2 seasons ago. I kind of had them pegged for that, but he's more of a Jeremy Collins. More of the fun, outgoing, strategic firefighter, which I like. He found the idol. He hit a fake one or hit the medallion that it looks real, and Matt found it, and so now he gets to stir up some stuff. I kind of thought he was gonna use that to take out Matt, but I like the fact that that's still out there, so that can be a future thing instead of it paying off right now.
Right.
It made sense to kind of just kind of go with the easy vote, and then you have that option for later.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think? Anything else?
No. I mean, he's making good bonds and being strategic with stuff and trying to help decide votes and everything else, but I think he's in a good spot. Yeah,
and I think it was Claire who said that he's an idiot and he's just
she's not worried about him.
Yeah, he's just he's kind of jumping around, having fun, whatever. But he's definitely more strategic than I even thought, and obviously doesn't come across as a smart guy at all.
Yeah.
But he clearly is smarter than he looks.
He's not a meathead. He's smart.
He seems that way, but he's not, right? He seems like a meathead.
Yeah, I guess.
But he's definitely not. He's definitely got more going on than he lets on.
Right.
Which is good. And that's why he's the player of the week this week. And that puts him at a negative and 3 positives. So he's +2. Makes sense?
Yes.
Anything else?
Yes, because I'm stupid.
No.
Makes sense?
No.
My dunce cap on.
No,
I think that's it.
Cool. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can look at our Facebook page, Pavement Road Productions, Pavement Road Prod on Facebook, facebook.com/Pavement Road Prod. You can email the show directly, papernoteproductions@gmail.com. Subscribe, share the post, tell your friends. And we'll be back next week, ideally right after the episode. We'll see what happens, but plan on being back, and recording pretty much immediately following the episode going forward, if we can. So be sure to subscribe if you miss anything. And thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing, being a part of the show. Send us your feedback and let us know what you think. Anything else, Jessica?
I don't think so.
All right.
Been tortured enough for tonight.
Right, exactly. I can unchain her and let her go back.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can go back to being just me show, me just talking at you for the next time. But we like having Jessica here. She's always fun. So even though she hates it, we like her.
Sound thrilled tonight. Maybe I'll sound more thrilled next time.
Yep, hopefully. Well, either way, thanks for everything, and I think that's it. I know I got nothing else for you because the tribe has spoke.